above the water on April 15th, 1912. More than 1,500 people died that day. The Titanic was 269.1 meters long. The ship could hold, hang on. Oh, on May 31st, 1911, Titanic was the biggest or largest man-made object in the world. The ship could have held 64 lifeboats, but they only held 20 because everybody thought that the ship was unsinkable. Yes. Sorry, I'm a little organized. Okay, the lifeboat number 2 was a 7-ship boat loaded from the port side. The boat gave a maximum estimation of there being a total of 25 to 30 people inside when it was lowered away. We only know of 17 or 18 people on record that were actually still on the boat whenever it reached the Carpathia. It is to be confirmed as being in the boat, and 17 seems to be considered an acceptable number for how many people were in the boat, but the boat could actually hold up to 40 people. Actually, as the boat, before it was being lowered, a group of men wanted to be inside the boat, but a second officer, Charles Lightoller, he was helping lower it, and he threatened the people with a gun, and he said to get out of there, and he said a cuss word, cowards, I'd like to see every one of you overboard. So he threatened them, and he'd like to see all the men that try to get in overboard. Next. The lifeboat had 8 ladies from first class and 6 passengers from the third class. In all, no more than 18 people. There was actually a man on the boat named Joseph Boxhall. He requested that they went back to get more people on board after it was being lowered, but the lifeboat was unable to take in any more people. Yes. There was actually men on the boat. Most of them were crewmen, and they worked for the ship, except for one guy. His name was Anton King, who jumped aboard as the lifeboat was being lowered because his family cried out for him. Joseph was an officer, and he was a leader or someone that people looked up to. Miss Louise King Hellman, she was actually the wife of Anton King. She did not speak much English. She was on board with her 4-week-old daughter, sister-in-law, and her husband. They were all in third class. Louise King did not like to talk about the night of the Titanic. Every time somebody asked her what happened, she would always tear up. But finally, one day she did open a little, and she said, being in the lifeboat, waiting for the Carpathia, never had I thought that I would live to grow as old as I am now. There was actually these green lights that Joseph sent up to get signals out, to try to get signals out that they needed help. Joseph gathered most of the lifeboats together, and he, if it wasn't for that, the Carpathia would never have noticed the lifeboats. So if it wasn't for Joseph, the Carpathia would never have noticed the lifeboats, and they wouldn't have been rescued. And lifeboat number 2 was the very first ship to board the Carpathia at 4 in the morning. Thanks. This is the picture of the Carpathia and some lifeboats heading to reach the ship to climb aboard. That's it.